What is up, everyone? Will Mosley here. Today I want to drop 10 minutes on a bit of my origin story, a bit of how this project kid got to where he is today. And this isn't for any sympathy or empathy or anything like that. I'm just hoping that my story can possibly help one other person out there that may have gone through some similar things that I've experienced. And I don't know, maybe it could change your course for the better. So, I guess I'll layer this in trying to a couple of key moments or things in my life that kind of got me to where I am now. I'm not going to go in super deep, but I will have that sometime soon, sometime later. I'd love to reminisce a bit. But I grew up super broke in the projects. Had a mom that always was always there, always present, always cared deeply for me, my brother Tony, my sister Hope, and did the absolute best she could do with the circumstances she could for pretty much being a single mom.
I think the whole world really shifted from being poor but loved to being lonely and confused in survival mode when my mom died. It was 11, 12, and just I felt absolutely lost, and there wasn't really anything motivating me to push through.
Now, my personality type, and it's probably still just a little bit it's probably about the same today as it was then, just maybe with a little bit more confidence. I was always that nerdy, geeky kid that liked to draw, and back then, and saying back then, I don't know, under 10, soft-spoken, whiny, crybaby, all that. So I guess a couple of things. I'm trying not to go too deep into one specific thing, since it'll take forever if I do. But long story short is that we grew up in the projects. My dad was locked up, and my mom pretty much had to fend and take care of all of us. I remember going to school and being Mister. He's doing the milk. He's doing that milk mess, Laura. Get out of here.
I think the biggest thing with my mom dying, my mom passing, was it forced me to have to grow up early. And in a sense, to this day, I mean, that's honestly one of those adversities that has pushed me further, that's made me appreciate life, appreciate those around me. But it really does suck as a kid. There's always a spot that's just super empty when it comes to my mom and I, that I can't fill. But I got to a point, there was a certain point where I had to stop being super sorry for myself and seeing the world as so dark. And I had two paths, One could be going into super depression, or the other was to remember the things that we did together and push myself into a spot where I feel as though she may have wanted me to go. And I was always creative, always loved art.
I was very aware at school that I wasn't the popular kid, nor like the like. I just was always nerdy. I was the one to be picked on, and I never really did much about it. So I was a pretty big target, and it.
Daddy,
Yeah.
I made an donation.
You got another imagination? Oh no! Let me see.
But it's not finished. I just broke it.
Uh,
I need it again.
So the biggest shift was, I think, when I got into high school. I went from like 7th, 8th grade being an absolute, complete nerd follower to getting into high school, which I was still a nerd, but I thought I was, a little bit higher up because I wasn't in middle school anymore. Funny facts, it just starts over. I think I don't feel as though I found my place or found something that really worked for me until I think like mid 10th grade, maybe 11th grade, where I got much more involved in the arts class and I started taking like Art 2, Art 3, Art 4, all that type of stuff. And I found other people around me that encouraged, liked what I did, that had the same weird, nerdy art vibe, than other people around me. So the hard part when I got to senior year was everyone, all my friends around me, they were applying to colleges. They had parents helping them to figure out how to do scholarships or how to apply for all these state colleges or whatever. And I just felt lost. I felt as though, I didn't have any parents to say go to. And I also felt like I did when I was super young, just young, broke, dumb, and an outcast. So what happened was I decided, I'm going to take a year off. Like it was after I graduated. I'm going to take a year off, try to work, make some money, and then go to community college. And I had some really amazing people, Rose and Vic, that allowed me to stay at their place rent-free for several months as I tried to figure out going from being a high school graduate into the real world. And I realized in those few months, like I was working Zaxby's, and all of my friends were pretty much gearing up to make that next step in their life. And I couldn't help but feel as though I was left behind or as though I wasn't making the right decision. Funny enough, the next decision that I made, it was a critical turning point, but it was a huge mistake in the long run. I decided to pretty much just go to any college that would accept me, point blank period, because I thought it was the right thing to do, which happened to be in Atlanta, which was out of state tuition, so therefore it was crazy expensive. And I went to Atlanta where I had no clue of who, I had no friends. I only had one person that was semi-close by, which was Brittany. And she was going to SCAD, this super big, fancy Savannah College of Art and Design that I only wish I could get into. And I was going to this really weird podunk college where, I don't know, they just accepted me. It was some of the most hardest, craziest times I've ever had to experience in my life, because I remember in November of that year, as I hated all my classes, as I felt as though they weren't really doing anything, I hated a lot of the people that were around me. I remember having $100 to stretch me as far as food, gas, everything for the month. $100. I remember going to Walmart, and it was a $100 gift card. It was from Rosemary. And I was so appreciative of this $100. I went to Walmart, I caught the bus to Walmart, and literally bought ramen like that would last me the month. And I wouldn't spend anything else on this except for like ramen and a couple of other tiny little things. which of course isn't enough to help you or keep you surviving, but it was all I had. The big thing that I would do was treat myself like weekly to go to Hardee's, and I'd have like a Hardee's burger, and I'd cut it in half and save the other half for later as I walked home. It was a really tough, hard time in my life. The biggest thing, though, the catalyst of this was, one, I realized, not specifically at that moment, like right there, but I kind of started to have that feeling that, maybe college isn't specifically for me. But I had this class, I took this one class, and it was a graphic design class. And that class helped me understand that I could take my art. Do what? Max and Ruby's over?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put on the Lego movie.
Yeah.
I'll put it on when it's over, okay?
But it's available. You said it's one time.
I'll come check, okay? Give me a minute.
Okay.
I'll be there in 5 minutes. Quiet. Baby's in at night. 5 minutes. There was this graphic design class, and it helped me understand that I could take my art, which art was for starving artists, art was for people that weren't going to make any money, but they could be artistic, and it helped me realize that I could make use of this skill and honestly go into corporations or agencies and supply, my art skills there. Jump forward years later, I dropped out of that college. I'd been through a long-term relationship, got out of a breakup, and I still felt lost. I was still trying to go to the community college at AB Tech. I was still trying to figure out how to work a minimum wage job, 2 minimum wage jobs, while go to school and still not feel like crap about myself. And there was this moment where I decided to decided that, you know what, I'm going to drop out. I'm not going to go to school anymore. I'm not going to do it. And that was a very big critical moment for me, where instead of trying to keep up with everyone else that I was looking up to, like those other college students that was year 2 or 3 in and almost about to graduate, instead of doing that, I pretty much took my own path, my own journey, my own life into my own hands. And that was super important. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to do AB Tech anymore. It's just too much stress. But what I had been doing the whole time was doing art and design every day. I'm talking about every single day. No matter what, I would design, I would draw, I would paint, I'd do something with that art skill. So funny enough, even though I felt horrible about myself, I was actually doing the right thing all along that other people didn't see or know. If you continue to work on your craft, you continue to grow as a person, and also, by the way, go through all that adversity that I did, it actually makes you much stronger than others around you. And that's the thing also, when you are looking at other people, you are trying to be something that they are, it's never going to work. You have to be your own beacon, and you have to one-up yourself. Not one-up anybody else, you're one-upping yourself every time, every drawing, every painting, every film. And that's pretty much what I've been doing for all of the last 10 years. Every single day, through hard times, through good times, through crazy times, I've been designing, I've been coding, and now over the last 3 or 4 years I've been doing filmmaking. And the big thing is, you can make something, but you have to put it out to the world. So create, distribute, repeat. And if you do that, then you fall in love with the process of just doing and being. And once you're able to do that, a lot of people will just see your value immediately because you have the work, you have everything that you've been doing, and you're not trying to say make a billion, million, whatever dollars. You're just trying to do what you love. So that's a bit of kind of going from project kid, geeky, nerdy, all that, to where I'm at now. There's plenty more in between that story, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap it here. I hope everyone has a great holiday season, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.